With that, only one immortal soldier remained. The immortal soldier was about to charge into the white mist when floating Wind Master, not far away, revealed a cold gleam in his eyes. With a grasp of his right hand through the air, the immortal soldier's body suddenly trembled and was immediately pulled back, being dragged through the air by floating Wind Master, who then fought against the 4 immortals. Although these 10 immortal soldiers possessed incredible physical strength, they were no match for floating Wind Master and his group. Wang Lin, witnessing this scene, couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief inwardly. Had he not fled from the land of demon spirits all those years ago, and instead insisted on breaking the immortal mansion's restrictions, even if he had come this far, neither the Hualing nor the immortal soldiers would have been something he could have resisted at that time. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged as he stepped forward toward the large hall, surrounded by towers, within the inner ring of the immortal mansion. But as he approached, an unexpected change occurred. The towers around the hall suddenly became illusory in Wang Lin's eyes, and in an instant, they shifted positions, transforming into a blur. Within this blur, strong flashes of light began to flicker. The merging of these lights formed an illusion resembling a turtle shell, tightly enclosing the hall in a protective barrier. From a distance, it looked like a giant turtle shell had covered the ground. At the same time, 4 wisps of green smoke floated out from the turtle shell, transforming into 4 elderly men dressed in green robes. Wang Lin calmly glanced at the 4 elders. They were all soul bodies, their cultivation levels ranging between the early and mid stages of glimpse of nirvana. The 4 elders emanated an aura of immortality, their presence suffused with thick immortal qi. As soon as they appeared, the air was filled with a heavy, ethereal energy. One of them, with long, white hair flowing, his eyes like lightning, fixed his gaze on Wang Lin and barked, "Lowly mortal from the lower realms, daring to invade the immortal mansion. You are doomed to die." Without waiting for Wang Lin to explain, the elder immediately took a step forward. With a point of his right hand to the sky, the immortal qi inside the mansion howled and formed a vortex in his palm. The vortex collapsed under his finger, but within the collapse, a roar rang out, and suddenly, a beast leaped from within. This beast, covered in black fur, was a massive ape, several meters tall, with arms reaching past its knees. As it appeared, it leaped directly toward Wang Lin to strike. The elder's figure flickered, turning into a beam of green light that followed the ape, charging at Wang Lin. The 3 other elders moved as well. One raised his hand, and a sandstorm swept around him, transforming into a gigantic black python over 100 meters long. Its massive mouth opened wide, aiming to devour Wang Lin. Another elder stretched his arms, and the air around him swirled with green smoke. The immortal qi in the mansion quickly gathered, and in a loud screech, it turned into a giant eagle, flying straight at Wang Lin like a streak of lightning. The last elder's eyes flashed, and with a quick hand gesture, he lifted his arms towards the sky and shouted, "Immortal Mountain Assault." As his words echoed, a thunderous rumble came from the roof of the mansion. A giant mountain peak materialized and hurtled down towards Wang Lin. In an instant, all 4 elders attacked simultaneously, using coordinated immortal arts that formed an ultimate killing formation. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with sharpness, and instead of retreating, he moved forward. As the giant ape charged at him, he clenched his right fist and struck the air with a powerful punch. A deafening explosion rang out as his fist collided with the ape's chest just as they crossed paths. The ape staggered back, letting out a miserable howl, its body rapidly retreating. But after just 3 steps, its upper body exploded in a burst of force. Wang Lin didn't stop. With a swift movement, he soared into the air. He raised his right hand and pointed downward, speaking in a calm tone, "Mother and child Tao wither." As the words left his mouth, a black light radiated from the diagram on his right hand, which detached and expanded in midair. It transformed into a sinister beast skull, surrounded by thick black energy. The skull's eyes flickered with eerie light. In that moment, a terrifying aura of death enveloped the area. The ghostly light flashed, and the giant eagle that was heading straight for Wang Lin came to a sudden halt midair. In a burst of gray light, it instantly turned into a stone statue. At that moment, the black python was almost upon him. Its massive mouth opened, releasing a terrifying sucking force, accompanied by a pungent smell as it tried to swallow Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and with a step back, he took out his storage pouch, calling out, 39 sword. Instantly, a golden sword flew out, spinning around Wang Lin, accompanied by a total of 27 swords. The moment they appeared, they crossed and formed a sword net, heading directly for the giant python. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of explosions filled the air as the giant python was immediately surrounded by the 27 swords, quickly pierced through, and let out a series of heartbreaking screams. Though this all seemed slow, it happened in a flash. At that moment, the sky above the immortal mansion darkened as the towering mountain peak pierced through the white mist, crashing down toward Wang Lin with immense force. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he opened his mouth and spit out an object. It was none other than the 18 Hell's immortal sealing seal. As soon as the seal appeared, it rapidly expanded, heading straight toward the towering mountain peak. With a thunderous roar, it collided with the mountain. Seizing this moment, a murderous glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He raised his hand and whispered coldly, "Summon the wind." Suddenly, the heavens and earth changed color as a black wind capable of extinguishing all life erupted from Wang Lin's hand. It spread across the sky, sweeping through the surroundings. From this black wind that engulfed the entire cave, four black dragons materialized, roaring as they devoured everything in their path. The elder who had previously transformed into a giant ape's face changed drastically. He stared at the black dragons in shock and exclaimed, "By Fan's technique." Without hesitation, he tried to retreat, but it was too late. A black dragon barreled toward him, swallowing him whole. The other three elders, apart from the one who had used the mountain seal, were also unable to escape the black dragons. In an instant, they were consumed. Everything happened so quickly. The last remaining elder retreated rapidly, his right foot stepping onto a turtle shell. A strange incantation escaped his lips, and light flickered from within the turtle shell. It surged into his body like flowing water. As his aura grew stronger, Wang Lin was not about to let him succeed. His right hand suddenly pointed, and he coldly muttered, "Freeze." In that moment, a momentary daze flashed in the elder's eyes as he distinctly felt his body entangled by countless invisible threads. In his moment of confusion, he muttered, "Body immobilization art." A strange expression appeared on his face. Just as he was about to speak, the last black dragon arrived, roaring and swallowing him whole. Wang Lin had seen the strange look on the elder's face, which sparked a thought in his mind. However, there was no time for further contemplation. Wang Lin stepped forward to the turtle shell. He raised his right hand, clenched his fist, and instantly, the shadow of an ancient god's arm materialized, roaring as it struck down toward the turtle shell. With a deafening crash, it felt as if the entire cave was trembling. Cracks appeared on the ground with a series of snapping sounds. The turtle shell flickered violently, but showed no sign of breaking. At this moment, Floating Wind Master and the others had also dealt with their immortal soldiers. The white mist in the sky quickly contracted, and the silver corpse walked out, its face flushed. After absorbing the flower spirits, it seemed to have undergone some peculiar changes. "Break the formation," Wang Lin ordered. Instantly, Floating Wind Master and the others did not hesitate. They combined their divine powers and cast them upon the turtle shell. With a massive rumble, the turtle shell once again flickered. As the ground shook, the distant stone bridge collapsed, ultimately crumbling to dust. However, the turtle shell remained intact, its glow only slightly dimmed. Wang Lin furrowed his brow, secretly alarmed. The protective power of this illusory turtle shell exceeded his expectations. Even his ancient god's punch, or the combined divine powers of many powerful elders, had failed to shatter it. I wonder if Tian Yunzi, Ling Tianho, and the others possess turtle shells in their immortal abodes. If they do, how did they break them? Wang Lin's eyes flashed as he gazed at the turtle shell. Not just him, but Floating Wind Master and the others also felt a chill in their hearts. Their gazes were all fixed upon the shell. At that moment, as everyone's attention converged, The turtle shell began to glow once again. Its light flickered as it revealed the large hall hidden within. Inside the hall, there was a dark, indistinct space. However, the sound of footsteps could be heard coming from deep within. In the quiet cave, the footsteps were faint, but crystal clear. It was as if a strange power accompanied each step, synchronizing with the beat of the listeners' hearts, making it feel as though each step was stepping on their very pulses. Floating Wind Master's expression changed. His primordial energy surged rapidly, spreading through his body, and only then was he able to separate the beat of his heart from the footsteps. However, the three masters of Dust Path and the others, including Big Head Reggie, lacked the cultivation to do the same. As the footsteps drew nearer, their faces turned pale. Only the silver corpse remained unaffected. Being a sentient corpse without a heartbeat, she was immune to the pressure. Wang Lin's expression darkened. As an ancient god, he could withstand this level of mental pressure. Gradually, the footsteps grew louder, as though someone was slowly emerging from the depths of the hall. As the sound of the steps drew closer, the three masters of Dust Path grew even paler. Big Head's face was covered with veins that seemed ready to burst. Reggie, having the weakest cultivation, trembled and had to step back a few paces. Yet, he still struggled to hold on. With a growl, his eyes bulged, and his body suddenly expanded to dozens of meters in size, giving him some resistance. At this moment, the footsteps reached the entrance of the hall. A figure in white appeared in the dimness of the hall. A piercing gaze shot through the turtle shell, locking onto Wang Lin. A life-and-death crisis, something Wang Lin hadn't faced in a long time, erupted like a storm across his entire body in that instant. Sweat stood up on his skin, and a chill surged through his veins. Unless one had reached the late pure nirvana stage, it was impossible to pose a real threat to him. Yet now, from the very moment those footsteps echoed until the white figure finally appeared, the sense of danger that engulfed Wang Lin soared to a peak in the blink of an eye. He hadn't felt his hair bristle like this in years. His pupils contracted sharply, and his body instinctively stepped back. Especially his right eye. It flared with cyan light, unblinking, locked intensely on that white silhouette. From the shadows of the grand hall, a faint sigh echoed. Then, the white figure stepped forward lightly, revealing herself before Wang Lin and the others, including Floating Wind Master. What appeared was a woman of such stunning beauty that she could only be described as otherworldly. Her flowing hair draped across her shoulders, and her features were almost unnaturally exquisite, even compared to willow eyebrows of years past. Though her looks were exceptional, this woman possessed an indescribable aura. She seemed like a rare flower birthed by heaven and earth, blooming with the will of nature and vanishing with its breath. She revealed only half of her body. Her gaze briefly swept across Wang Lin, then glided over Floating Wind Master and the rest. After that, she withdrew. But even that fleeting glance hit Wang Lin like an invisible hammer. A thunderous boom filled his mind, blood surged up his throat, and he coughed it out violently. His body was flung backwards several zhang, and his face immediately darkened. If Wang Lin was this affected, the others fared far worse. Floating Wind Master's eyes flew open, red veins instantly spreading within. He too spat out blood. His enormous, mountain-like frame trembled, then rapidly shrank to half its size. A torrent of primordial energy rushed into his consciousness, forcing him to retreat several dozen zhang before he finally stopped, pale and stunned. "Flower Immortal," he gasped. The three masters of Dust Path had even less resistance. A single glance caused Yi Chenzi's eyes to go unfocused. A pounding throb echoed from his chest before blood streamed from his mouth. His body wavered midair. He nearly fell from the sky. The terror in his eyes spiked to its absolute peak in that instant. As for Yi Xingzi and Yi Longzi, their minds felt as though pierced by invisible swords. In agony, blood sprayed from every pore on their bodies, dyeing their robes crimson. They plummeted and immediately sat in meditation, trying to recover. Datu and Reggie fared no better. Especially Reggie, his massive frame couldn't withstand the mental assault. With a loud crash, he collapsed to one knee, his face ashen with despair. Only the silver corpse remained unchanged, though a strange glimmer flickered in its eyes. Such terrifying pressure, unleashed by just a single glance, left Wang Lin deeply wary of this immortal abode. This was only the outer ring of the fourth immortal abode, and already the danger was overwhelming. What about the final immortal abode that would be revealed after all restrictions were broken? It must be filled with unending peril. This journey to the land of demonic spirits' immortal mansion might be the most dangerous experience of my entire cultivation path so far, Wang Lin thought grimly. He had anticipated danger, but he hadn't expected that opening even just the outer area would expose the limits of their strength. As the white figure vanished again into the darkness of the grand hall, Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with a cold light. With his sharp intuition, he understood clearly. That gaze had been a warning. A warning meant for all of them, but especially for him. Don't step forward. Had it been under ordinary circumstances, Wang Lin might have chosen to retreat. After all, he had indeed intruded upon someone else's cave mansion. But this journey into the land of demonic spirits was something Wang Lin could not walk away from. Everything he was doing was for Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi's life and death were still uncertain. Wang Lin's greatest wish now was to bring Qing Shuang back to life, and the key to that lay in Qing Shuang's father, Qing Lin. Wang Lin had always felt grateful to Zhou Yi, just as he had to Situ Nan. Situ Nan had led him into the path of cultivation, and Zhou Yi had played a critical role in that journey. Without the crystal of ascension Zhou Yi once gave him, Wang Lin would have long turned to dust in the fleeting days of seekers of the Tao, buried and forgotten by time. Moreover, the mystery of Situ Nan's. Since I've chosen this path, I will walk it to the end. Wang Lin took a deep breath, standing outside the turtle shell, slowly raising his right hand. As he grasped the void, a rumbling sound echoed through the cave, as if the void had been torn open with a massive rift. Cold winds howled as black rays of light gathered from the gap. In a moment, they condensed into an illusory long spear above Wang Lin's right hand. A vast arc of black lightning spread, crackling and echoing throughout the silent cave. Behind Wang Lin, an illusory image of an ancient god appeared, and as Wang Lin gripped the spear of annihilation, the godly figure also reached out, and a booming sound followed. In the right hand of the illusory figure, another spear of annihilation materialized. At that instant, immense power from the heavens and earth filled the entire cave. As Wang Lin took a deep breath and slowly raised the spear of annihilation, the ground beneath him began to tremble. Pieces of broken stone lifted off the ground. Not just the broken stone, even the flowing water in the small river seemed to halt, gradually floating upwards. Even the damaged upper floor, caused by cracks in the turtle shell earlier, saw dust rising into the air. In that moment, the entire cave turned eerie. I do not wish to harm anyone. The four soul bodies earlier were merely fragments of souls left behind here, not the main bodies. Even now, I only wish to break open this turtle shell and open the cave's passage. Wang Lin's third eye on his forehead slowly appeared. Hidden under the third eye, the Wang clan's 5-star insignia spun rapidly, sending waves of ancient godly power through Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin's body moved suddenly, his right hand raising the spear of annihilation, gently sweeping through the air. The sound of tearing followed, as the void seemed to be forcibly ripped open. Gripping the spear of annihilation, Wang Lin's figure flickered like lightning, charging toward the turtle shell. As he got closer, he suddenly leapt into the air, his gaze resolute as he shouted, "Floating Wind Master, Silver Corpse, help me break the shell." With gritted teeth, Floating Wind Master shrank his body by half, then continued to contract rapidly. In moments, he turned back to his normal size, with golden light flickering within him. Suddenly, a massive stone tablet materialized. The stone tablet was engraved with many symbols, and under the swirling golden light, Floating Wind Master pressed his hands into a formation and pointed forward. The stone tablet, howling through the air, sped directly toward the turtle shell. With a deafening crash, the stone tablet struck the turtle shell, causing it to shimmer continuously. Meanwhile, Silver Corpse neared, opening his mouth to release multicolored smoke, which rushed toward the turtle shell. As it neared, the smoke spread, sticking to the shell and slowly dissolving it. The flashing on the turtle shell intensified, and in that moment, Wang Lin, without hesitation, hurled the spear of annihilation downward. The spear flew like a wild dragon, accompanied by a deafening roar. Its speed was so fast that the tip of the spear nearly touched the turtle shell as soon as Wang Lin threw it. A circular ripple expanded from the tip of the spear of annihilation, sweeping outward. In an instant, the sound of thunderous rumbling echoed, and at the same time, cracks began to form around the spear tip on the turtle shell. As the cracks appeared, the multicolored smoke instantly flowed into them. With the collision of the golden stone tablet, the cracks grew larger. Finally, with a tremendous explosion, the turtle shell completely shattered. In the explosion, the entire cave was filled with dazzling light. The shattered pieces of the turtle shell flew outward, and the power of the spear of annihilation reached its peak, tearing through the turtle shell and heading toward the grand hall below. Accompanying this was the multicolored smoke, but in this very moment, Wang Lin felt a danger that made his hair stand on end, even more intense than before. A pure white hand emerged from the shadows of the grand hall, lightly tapping the spear of annihilation. Instantly, countless vivid, multicolored flowers appeared in the air, filling the surroundings in the blink of an eye, blocking the spear of annihilation completely. As for the multicolored smoke, it instantly transformed into a five-colored flower, floating motionless in midair. A figure in white stepped forward, lifting her exquisite head, and coldly fixed her gaze on Wang Lin. Her jade hand pointed forward. At that moment, Wang Lin's pupils constricted sharply. Without hesitation, he spat out an item from his mouth, the life-saving treasure given to him by Yin Lazy, the fragment of the Thunder Celestial Realm. The fragment had cracks on it, caused by Tian Yunzi's divine technique. As soon as the Celestial Realm fragment flew out, it immediately expanded, turning into a 100-foot wide shield. But as soon as the fragment appeared, countless flowers mysteriously bloomed across its surface. These flowers were incredibly brilliant, releasing a strange fragrance into the air. "I've already warned you." A soft but chilling voice echoed through the heavens and earth. As the voice rang out, the Immortal Realm fragment, adorned with countless blooming flowers, suddenly shattered with a deafening crash. Who exactly is she? Could she really be the flower immortal spoken of by Floating Wind Master? Wang Lin's scalp went numb. He realized that if he hadn't possessed an ancient god physique, that last attack would have been fatal for an ordinary cultivator. However, even so, the searing pain coursing through his body shook Wang Lin's heart, especially the collapse of the Immortal Realm fragment, which left him deeply startled. Although the Immortal Realm fragment had cracks under Tian Yunzi's divine abilities, it was still a formidable defensive artifact. Yet, at this moment, it had collapsed so mysteriously under the woman's finger, causing Wang Lin to gasp. He quickly retreated. The woman in white lightly shifted her body, taking a few steps forward. Her cold gaze locked onto Wang Lin, and she raised her right hand again, lightly pointing at the void. In that instant, a tidal wave of danger flooded Wang Lin's senses. He felt a sharp pain in his chest, as though a deadly blade were about to pierce through him. In agony, he retreated again, and without thinking, the power of the ancient god surged from the center of his brows, creating a thundering sound from his chest as roots of a plant, under the power of the ancient god, snapped apart. The woman in white furrowed her brows and calmly said, "No wonder you dared to trespass into my cave abode. You do have some qualifications." As she spoke, her right finger pointed to the side. Immediately, Floating Wind Master, who had been preparing to escape in the distance, felt the situation turn dire. Flowers blossomed around his body in an instant, releasing an intoxicating fragrance. His face turned pale as he was surrounded by an endless sea of flowers. Without hesitation, he crossed his legs and began meditating, hoping to expel the poison from his body. In the moment he sat down, the flowers around him immediately closed in, encircling him completely. From afar, it was as if the flower sea had swallowed him whole. The three masters of Dust Path, as well as the two and the others, were horrified. They wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Flowers spread around them in an instant, and before they could cast any spells, they were completely covered by the flower sea. As for the silver corpse, it too was engulfed by the flower sea, disappearing beneath the endless fragrant clouds. Looking around, Wang Lin was the only one remaining in the air? The woman's icy gaze fell on Wang Lin, and once again, Wang Lin felt a jolt in his mind. His right eye gleamed with a cyan light, and a cyan light shield materialized in front of him. As it surrounded him, the sound of repeated crashes echoed from the shield. Flowers appeared out of nowhere, and as they collided with the cyan light shield, they shattered into countless pieces, scattering across the air. But the strange fragrance only grew more intense, spreading further. The woman in white frowned even more deeply. She raised her right hand, removing a hairpin engraved with flowers from her hair. She glanced at it silently before tossing it forward. At that moment, a shrill, piercing shriek filled the entire cave, one so sharp it could pierce through flesh and annihilate a soul. The hairpin flashed and shot toward Wang Lin. Its speed was so fast that even Wang Lin couldn't catch a glimpse of it. His body could only feel a series of bangs around him, each representing the cyan light shield's attempts to defend. With each successive crash, the sensation of life-threatening danger surrounded Wang Lin entirely. He couldn't see through the woman's cultivation level, but he felt that her terrifying power may even surpass the sense of dread he had felt when facing Yin Lazy. The woman raised her right hand again, forming a strange seal in her palm. She murmured, "Flower burial." As soon as those words left her mouth, flowers began to bloom endlessly wherever the eye could see. There were so many flowers that the cave itself seemed to become a world of blossoms. The moment the woman spoke, "flower burial," these countless flowers bloomed to their peak, their petals rapidly wilting and falling like a rain of petals that filled the entire world. Under the woman's delicate finger, these petals flew toward Wang Lin, seemingly intent on burying him. With no retreat left, Wang Lin's eyes flashed coldly. He hadn't felt such an imminent threat of death in a long time. Without thinking, he formed a hand seal, pointed to the sky, and shouted, "Summon wind." Immediately, black winds swirled around his right hand and shot up into the sky, transforming into 4 black dragons. They roared through the flower sea, sending waves of coldness through the air. Without pausing, Wang Lin changed his hand seal and cried out, "Summon rain." As the 4 black dragons roared, torrents of rain began to fall from the sky. The droplets of rain, sparkling with light, covered the surroundings, and an endless aura of immortality began to condense from the cave itself, merging into the rain. The wind summoning and rain calling technique, when consecutively performed, immediately fused together. The might of summoning rain amidst the wind was overwhelming, and the demonic aura in the rain made the wind even colder. In an instant, countless raindrops around began to turn into ice crystals with a sharp cracking sound. As Wang Lin extended his arms and pointed forward, 4 black dragons roared out, and the ice rain scattered, forming a storm that surged toward the woman in white. At this moment of crisis, Wang Lin's eyes reddened slightly. With his hands outstretched, he formed another hand seal and shouted without hesitation, "Scatter beans to form soldiers." The moment the words left his mouth, a black light flashed from his mouth. It was the 18 Hells Immortal Sealing Seal. This Immortal Sealing Seal, with its 18 layers of light flashing, was unleashed as Wang Lin flicked his sleeve. Souls of warriors immediately flew out, spreading throughout the cave mansion and charging toward the woman in white alongside the wind summoning and rain calling technique. Especially the scatter beans to form soldiers spell, which, under the endless souls, caused the surrounding sea of flowers to ripple. This was the first time Wang Lin used all 3 of Baifan's immortal arts at once. The power was unmatched. Within the howling black winds, petals curled, ice crystals fell rapidly, and the air echoed with continuous booming sounds. Finally, the scatter beans to form soldiers transformed into countless battle souls, among which the blood ancestor appeared with a savage expression. Under the sweeping force, these 3 divine arts fused into a storm that spread throughout heaven and earth. Boom, boom. Thunderous explosions shook the world. The fusion of Baifan's 3 immortal arts shattered a gap in the sea of flowers, bringing Wang Lin closer to the woman in white. Wang Lin took a step forward, and his body emitted cracking sounds as he suddenly grew to 100 feet tall. The cyan light shield also transformed, becoming several dozen feet in size, swirling around Wang Lin's body. The ancient royal god's aura fully spread out at this moment, and with a low growl, Wang Lin merged into the storm. His right fist was clenched and struck forward with immense force. With this punch, the winds grew fierce, causing the storm formed by the three divine arts to accelerate, smashing through everything ahead and nearing the woman in white. Within the storm, four black dragons roared, countless ice crystals spun wildly, and large numbers of battle souls appeared. The woman in white's expression shifted slightly as she gazed at Wang Lin's massive form. She whispered, "Ancient God." Raising her right hand, a flash of cyan light appeared in her palm, and an odd light orb materialized. The instant the light orb appeared, Wang Lin, transformed into an ancient god, felt an intense sense of danger. This threat was far stronger than before, all due to the light orb. The woman's expression grew colder, and with a wave of her hand, the light orb shot straight at the storm, colliding with it in an instant. No sound followed, but the scene before Wang Lin made his heart tremble. As soon as the light orb touched the storm, it shattered, suddenly collapsing. However, its collapse triggered a strange change. The storm, originally formed by the fusion of three divine arts, seemed to regress, quickly separating and turning back into the three individual techniques. But immediately, these three techniques began to decompose further, layer by layer, and in the blink of an eye, they disappeared right in front of the woman. Even the battle souls summoned by the scatter beans to form soldiers returned to the 18 hells. This entire process was completed in an instant. The bizarre change made Wang Lin's face turn pale. At that moment, his fist lost the storm's energy and quickly approached the woman in white, landing a strike. The woman in white remained composed, her gaze cold. She raised her right hand again, and another light orb appeared, rushing straight toward Wang Lin. Primordial force. Wang Lin could clearly feel that the light orb contained a trace of primordial energy, which was capable of neutralizing the effects of the three divine arts. If it touched him, even his ancient god physique would probably collapse. In this critical moment, Wang Lin's third eye on his forehead suddenly appeared. At an extremely fast speed, just as the light orb was about to touch him, it burst open with a dazzling red glow, quickly unveiling. The power of the third eye manifested. As the third eye opened, the red light spread like a fan, enveloping the light orb. The primordial force stored within Wang Lin's third eye unraveled, rapidly spreading out. This was the first time Wang Lin used the primordial force from his third eye in battle. Though it seemed calm, it was an extremely dangerous moment. The moment the third eye's red light flashed, the woman in white's expression changed for the first time. The light orb disintegrated at an incredible speed under the red light, but as it vanished, Wang Lin's already limited primordial force also dissipated quickly, as if they neutralized each other. This process took only an instant, but to Wang Lin, it felt like hundreds of years. When the light orb fully vanished, Wang Lin staggered back. The red glow from his third eye faded, and all the energy returned to his forehead. His back was drenched in cold sweat. As Wang Lin retreated, the woman in white did not pursue, but instead stared at him solemnly, her voice low. "Ancient God, by Fan's immortal arts, primordial force. Who are you?" Wang Lin was extremely wary of this woman in white, but he had no choice. He had to break into this cave mansion, no matter what. At this moment, hearing her words, his mind couldn't help but stir, and he recalled the strange expression of the elderly man in the green robe when he saw the body immobilization art earlier. Wang Lin seldom took risks in his life, but now, he had no choice but to take a gamble. If I fail, my only option will be to escape and find the ancient demon Bailuo, asking him to break open this place. No matter what, I must get into this demon spirit immortal mansion. Wang Lin gritted his teeth, raising his right hand and pointing forward. In an instant, the body immobilization art spread out. As soon as the woman in white saw the body immobilization art, her expression immediately changed. Wang Lin's eyes flashed, and he decisively slapped his storage pouch. Immediately, an immortal jade pagoda appeared in his hand. Inside the glowing tower, Qing Shuang's seemingly lifeless body appeared between Wang Lin and the woman in white. The woman in white seemed to be struck by a thunderbolt. Wang Lin, his heart in his throat, stared intently at her changing expression. He was gambling that this woman must recognize the body immobilization art and be familiar with Qing Shuang. Though this was the perfect moment for a sneak attack, Wang Lin didn't do it. The sense of danger the woman in white radiated was overwhelming. From the moment she released even a trace of primordial power, Wang Lin was horrified. Even Yin Lazy only had a slight trace of primordial energy in his body and had yet to fully unleash his primordial power. But this woman, she had already released her primordial power earlier. Wang Lin couldn't even begin to fathom what that meant. Confronting such an enemy, a sneak attack was meaningless. The surroundings were eerily quiet, with no sound except for the faint fragrance of flowers drifting through the air and flower petals gently falling from the sky, carpeting the ground in a sea of blossoms. In the silence, time slowly passed. After a moment, the woman in white opened her eyes, gazing at Qing Shuang's body, and opened her mouth as if about to speak. But at that very moment, a loud rumble suddenly echoed from the distant cave mansion. In this otherwise quiet environment, the noise was especially sharp and grating. At the same time, a curse drifted in from afar. "Run? The treasures I set my sights on can never escape." Situ Nan's domineering voice reverberated through the air, and soon, a white light appeared rapidly from the distance, carrying a small bottle. The bottle was made of pure white jade, gleaming like mutton fat from a distance. Behind the bottle, black smoke swirled around Situ Nan as he pursued it relentlessly. Seeing the bottle accelerate, he snorted coldly, made a hand seal, and waved his hand forward. Instantly, thick black mist appeared in the air before the bottle. In the blink of an eye, the mist transformed into a phantom beast, which lunged at the bottle to swallow it whole. The bottle's speed abruptly halted, and as the phantom beast rushed forward to devour it, a loud bang sounded. The bottle shattered into countless sharp shards that pierced through the beast's body. The shards quickly reformed, and the bottle returned to its original shape, its speed increasing as it flew forward. Situ Nan's eyes gleamed, and with a long laugh, he quickened his pace, chasing after it again. The chase between this man and the bottle quickly drew closer to Wang Lin and the woman in white. Wang Lin's eyes flickered briefly. The white jade bottle sped toward the woman in white. Her brows furrowed as her jade hand reached out and gently grasped the bottle. But the moment she held the bottle, it suddenly cracked with a loud boom, turning into countless shards that shot toward her. Situ Nan's body swayed as he yelled, "Wang Lin, run!" Without a second thought, Wang Lin, seeing the bottle fall into the woman's hand, immediately stored away Qing Shuang and the immortal jade pagoda. His body shot backward like a streak of lightning. Situ Nan's expression twisted into one of fury. As he too retreated, his hands formed a seal, pressing downward. He shouted, "Void shattering immortal art!" With his voice resounding through the heavens, the sky before him immediately began to twist. The air was filled with the sound of continuous explosions, which soon blended into one. Countless whirlpools appeared out of thin air, racing toward the woman in white. Seizing the opportunity, Situ Nan quickly retreated, heading for the exit of the immortal mansion, followed closely by Wang Lin. The shattered pieces of the white jade bottle reversed in midair, speeding toward the woman's face. But with a flicker of her eyes, they abruptly stopped mid-flight. Her expression remained calm as she took a few light steps forward. Situ Nan's whirlpools, created by his void-shattering immortal art, roared toward her, but they eerily passed right through her body, and yet, she didn't pause for a moment. "You don't wish to enter the cave mansion anymore," the woman in white said slowly, her voice still cold, but devoid of killing intent. Wang Lin, retreating, hesitated for a moment before decisively stopping. He stared at the woman in white in the distance. Situ Nan frowned and also stopped. He had previously left to search for treasures alone, but not long after, he immediately sensed the danger near Wang Lin's location. The downfall and disappearance of figures like Floating Wind Master and others left Situ Nan stunned. But Wang Lin was still here. He couldn't escape on his own. Therefore, he took the risk of coming over to create an opportunity to escape together. Seeing Wang Lin stop, Situ Nan didn't hesitate and also came to a halt, coldly staring at the approaching woman in white. "Senior, may we enter?" Wang Lin cupped his hands and calmly spoke. The woman in white remained silent for a long time, sighed softly, and turned to look at the great hall within the immortal mansion's inner ring. She spoke gently, "Follow me." As she spoke, the woman drifted towards the great hall. Wang Lin paused for a moment, glanced at Situ Nan, who looked back with a flicker of his gaze and slowly said, "This person is a bit strange. If you don't want to come, you too can leave. Your companions will wait for you outside the immortal mansion." The woman's voice echoed faintly. Her figure had already reached the outer area of the hall and, with light steps, blended into the darkness inside. Remembering the change in her expression earlier, Wang Lin's eyes showed determination. He calmly said, "Situ, I'll go in alone." Situ Nan naturally understood that if both of them entered together, there would be no chance of resistance should anything happen. He nodded and said nothing more. There were things between him and Wang Lin that didn't need to be spoken aloud. There was trust. Without another word, Wang Lin shifted and turned into a streak of light, rushing forward. In the blink of an eye, he arrived outside the hall, took a deep breath, and stepped into the great hall. Inside the hall, it was completely dark. This darkness hindered not only the physical eyes, but also affected the divine sense, preventing it from spreading far. It could only extend a few feet around him. In the faint light, Wang Lin saw several large shadows around the hall, resembling statues. However, the darkness was so deep that he couldn't make out their details. The hall was eerily quiet, with only the faint sound of footsteps ahead, signaling that the woman in white was gradually moving away. Suddenly, the footsteps stopped. A soft voice echoed in the hall. "What is your name?" "Wang Lin." Wang Lin replied in a low voice. "Wang." The woman seemed to be speaking to herself, muttering, "So it is Wang." The hall fell silent again. Though Wang Lin maintained a calm expression, his mind was on high alert. His primordial energy circulated throughout his body, ready to retaliate at the slightest hint of danger. Moreover, his third eye on his forehead appeared, though not fully open. With a mere thought, the primordial force within could spread out instantly. Wang Lin was deeply cautious of this woman. Although he had reached the glimpse of Nirvana stage, and his ancient god physique could unleash mid-pure Nirvana strength, he knew he was no match for her. But some things had to be done, even at the risk of danger. This was Wang Lin. In the silence, the woman seemed to wave her right hand in front. A crystalline light flashed, unlike any ordinary glow. In the pitch-black darkness, it appeared like a firefly, quickly illuminating the surroundings with a soft glow. With the faint light, Wang Lin saw the surroundings of the hall clearly and gasped. The hall resembled a Taoist temple from the mortal realm, with several massive statues. There were 9 statues in total, with 8 surrounding the hall and 1 directly ahead. The statue in front was carved from unknown materials, faintly radiating a touch of golden light in the dimness. However, this golden light was very faint, quickly being devoured by the surrounding darkness. As a result, it could only be contained within the statue, giving it a strange feeling. The statue depicted a middle-aged man, very strong and imposing. His appearance was dignified, and his eyes glowed with profound brilliance. He wore a yellow robe that exuded an indescribable aura of nobility. Embroidered on the robe were 9 purple dragons, surrounding it in a menacing display. Even though the statue was motionless, Wang Lin could still sense the overwhelming fierce aura radiating from it. Behind the statue was a carved cloud, but these clouds were not white. Instead, they were black, swirling with darkness, further enhancing the man's imposing presence. The moment Wang Lin gazed into the statue's eyes, a deafening roar echoed in his mind, as though an unimaginable force slammed into him, hitting him directly. This force was so overwhelming that Wang Lin had never experienced anything like it in his life. Not even Qing Shui, Yan Lazy, or Tian Yunzi came close. Even the mysterious elder from the Luotian star domain seemed weaker in comparison. The intensity of the force created an invisible shockwave. Wang Lin's body trembled, and blood spurted from his mouth as he was sent flying backward. Just as his primordial energy was about to erupt, he was horrified to find that it shrank back, unwilling to move. It was as if the primordial energy was too terrified to function before the statue. An invisible pressure pressed down on Wang Lin, and as soon as the primordial energy within him stirred, it was immediately forcefully suppressed. No matter how much he struggled, it was to no avail. Even the primal energies of heaven and earth had to bow before the statue. Wang Lin was greatly alarmed. At this moment, all he could hear was the frantic pounding of his own heart, reverberating wildly. His blood felt as though it had stopped flowing, but in the blink of an eye, it surged like madness, rushing towards his heart in unison. This phenomenon was something Wang Lin had never encountered in his 1,300 years of cultivation. He had never even imagined it. But at this very moment, there was no time for him to think. His primordial energy could not circulate, and as his blood surged like a tide, his body immediately began to tremble. An unimaginable pressure sought to force him to his knees, to make him bow before the might of the statue. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with a red light as he let out a low growl. The power of the ancient god suddenly erupted from within him. The ancient gods did not revere heaven and earth, nor did they fear the laws of the Tao. They defied fate, and thus were known as the Ancient Clan.